What's the single most important item in your home that has a value of $1 or less? A rock shaped like a heart. My fiancé and I took a trip to Poland and Greece. I bought her a heart-shaped rock from a salt mine in Poland. Didn't cost $1. But at a red sand beach in Greece 4 days later, she found a rock that was shaped perfectly like a heart. This one was free. Both rocks now sit next to each other in our house we just bought. Also, one rock is dark and the other red. I so happen to have red hair and she has dark hair. She found the red heart rock for free and I bought the salt rock. Aw, that's so sweet. It is not exactly the same, because the rock isn't shaped like a heart, but there's a Polish song about gifting a woman a rock. Since I assume you don't speak Polish, the story goes less or more that he couldn't afford expensive gifts, so he gave her a rock with love written on it, but she didn't find it to be enough and still wanted expensive gifts. She leaves, he finds out the rock is made of pure gold, and he sells it to get rich. Laughing face. It is a fun song and your trip to Poland and rocks symbolizing love reminded me of it. Here's a translation. It says with lots of love, probably for better flow, but literally it says with love written on it. There's a more literal translation on the YouTube comment section. My collection of old dog tags, literally dogs. I have all my 4-legged dog tags since I was 9, I'm 54 now. I have it in my will to be buried with these. Adding to the list of things I wish I had done. That's amazing, I'd love to do that, but my dogs keep losing their tags on their adventures. We live in a large space in the countryside. If you don't mind sharing, how many do you have by now? A ratty teddy bear passed down from my much older brothers to me. Is the only item I have that survived my insane childhood. Sounds like he makes a great heirloom. A matchstick. I had a door that was sagging in my house due to the screw over time wearing a larger hole in the wall, and after some research I found a tip that shoving a matchstick with the tip broken off inside and a dab of glue could make the hole smaller. That matchstick was worth its weight in gold, so about $1, after it helped me fix a huge annoyance. Alternately toothpicks or a wooden golf tee. I use wooden toothpicks and wood glue to fill in the hole, then put the screw back in. Works like a charm every time. We use this trick often actually. Doors, furniture, windows, handrails, cabinets. I think my house might fall apart at some point. The book that my grandma used to read to me, it is worthless, wasn't even listed on Goodreads until I added it, but she died in 2005, the day after my 8th birthday, and remembering her voice reading it is one of the clearest memories I have. Would definitely save it in a fire. What book is it? One time, about 5 years into our relationship, my girlfriend, now wife, and I were in separate rooms in our 1-bedroom apartment in early December. From the other room, she hollered to me, "What do you want for Christmas?" I had been working full-time, taking part-time university classes to finish my degree, and had been volunteering as part of a youth mentor program. So I said, all I really want is a break. 3 weeks later, I'm unwrapping a very heavy shoebox. After getting through the mountain of duct tape and several layers of wrapping paper, I had my very own brick. "I really didn't understand what you wanted it for," she said, "but you sounded so sure of it. So here you go." Cue about 10 minutes of laughs, and now that brick sits proudly on my desk. Every time I am overwhelmed or feeling like I've taken on too much, I look at it, pick it up, have a little laugh, and put it back so I can carry on. Best gift ever. That's an incredibly sweet story. Thanks for sharing. Where are you from, i.e. what is your dialect/accent? My brother knocked a wall out of their brick house and kept a few of the old bricks around. For a few years it was a running joke that someone at Christmas was getting a brick with short piece of string tied to it with a small loop, penis enlargement kit. One year it was keyless entry for my dad's new truck. Mom once got a silver painted Google Chrome brick. I was in a cult-y Christian sorority, and for initiation, candidates had to walk around campus with a brick for a week. Represents Jesus taking up the cross. They had to drop that tradition after someone dropped it on their foot. A best brother in the world pin from my brother who passed away. He gave it to me when he was 6. Edit. Thanks everyone, it means a lot. It was a few years ago and I've made peace. I hope he's happy. For all you still suffering, I hope you get through it. It gets better. That's very sweet and heartwarming, and I am very sorry for your loss. Speaking of brother, I have kept the loop bands that my youngest brother gave to me 6 years ago. He was just 10 when he made it, just a mediocre rubber band bracelet that I brought with me to study and live abroad. I kept it together with his favorite shirt that he also sneakily tucked in my luggage. Edit, a word. That's very cute. My son found a rock on the way home from school in kindergarten. We were walking home through this park we always cut through, and he grabbed the rock and fell in love with it. It just looked like mud to me, but who cares, he loved it. When we got home I helped him wash it off in the sink and it was black and kinda bluish. He said it was awesome and then gave it to me. It is one of my most precious things in the world to me. Aw, that's adorable. My stepdaughter loved gifting me rocks. I've kept quite a few. One of my favorites is a rose quartz she actually found on a hike in the mountains. It looked like a regular rock, but after we cleaned it up, I noticed it looked like quartz. I asked my friend who collects minerals and she told us what it was. I thought that was just absolutely amazing. You could always wrap it in wire and either wear it properly as a necklace or a keychain. My mom has necklace things still to this day and it makes me feel fuzzy. My stepdad asked me to remake one of his keychain I made him from years ago too. It makes me feel so important they care to want to keep that stuff. It's amazing how such a little thing is so important. I gave my dad's best friend one of those people you call uncle but we're not related a rock when I was 4 or 5 and he keeps it in the cup holder of his car to this day. Almost 17 years of holding on to a little rock. I have a $1 bill saved and put away in a drawer. The significance behind it is it was my last dollar before I decided to stop gambling and doing hard drugs. I had to stop cold turkey. I was so fucking done being a half-human, or an empty shell. At first it was just a dollar that sat in my center console in my car. I would look at it and be reminded what I was doing. I've been sober for well over a year now. I feel like that $1 is special. I know in Narcotics Anonymous they get something saying how long they've been sober or whatever. That $1 is my token for fighting a silent battle that I cannot share with people otherwise I could lose my job. When I was 4 or 5, the last time I ever saw my great-grandmother, she gave me a $1 bill and said as long as you keep this dollar you'll never be broke. I spent it the next day on some candy. That may be my biggest regret. Great work. The broken glass outside my window reminding me why I left my ex. Congrats on getting out of that relationship, sounds toxic. I have a church organ in my house that I got for free when a church in another state couldn't find an organist and gave up the organ. I minored in music in college and am an organist, so it's probably the most important less than $1 item I own. Wow, church organs are big things. Where do you put all the pipes? How did you get it into your house? I have so many questions. There's a picture of my wife and I with our adopted daughter. The picture was taken when she was around 13 or so but we didn't adopt her until she was 16. When we took, it was just us and a kid we kind of knew from church. It is so cool to look back on and see how far we've come. Edit. Thanks for the awards and the kind comments but I can promise you, we've gotten way more out of her living with us than she has. She is an amazing human being. If you'd like to read the story, check the comments below. You didn't just bring her home from church suddenly one day, did you? You sound like great people, can't have been easy to adopt a 16-year-old, hope you're all doing great now. Do you care to share the story at all, or is it too personal? When I was a very small kid, and we were very poor, my parents bought me a small teddy bear. That teddy bear is now more than 20 years old but is the most precious gift I have. Handwritten letters from my grandmother who passed away a few years ago. While it is sad to see her handwriting get progressively worse for each letter at the end, it is nice to have something that was that close to her. I have them stored in a small box and it always goes into our evacuation bag during fire season. Evacuation bag during fire season, man, it is crazy some of the stuff I take for granted. I guess it makes sense but I'd never have thought something like that would exist if you hadn't said. I love handwritten letters, postcards, or even personalized notes in the books. Even if it doesn't say anything profound or deep, knowing that someone thought about and cared enough to make the effort to write their feelings to me makes me giddy. I don't mean flowery attempts at poetry, it doesn't have to be deep, just sincere. On my birthday I received a letter from a friend who lives literally on the opposite side of the planet. It was filled with raw honesty, inside jokes and a picture of their pet. Not to mention writing it, folding it, putting into an envelope, finding a stamp, and posting it. That's more time and decision making than goes into writing a text message. It is still one of my prized possessions. My point being, people love letters. People love feeling appreciated, people love feeling connections. Go write a letter/card/note if you want to make someone's day. People who sleep naked, when has it backfired? I used to sleep naked. Now I own a cat. Those two overlapped for only a week. Yeah, morning wood and cats don't mix, one time they attack it and you'll sleep with shorts on after that. Penis equals scratching post for cats. Garfield did nothing wrong. I feel this on a deep level. Got a kitten. Got my nipples bitten while sleeping. Started wearing clothes to bed. Can't believe you got rid of your cat after just a week so you could sleep naked. You know that thing cats do where they bash their whole body into you for snuggles? Yeah, my cat does that, but his favorite target is my balls. Not only do I not sleep naked, I need to buffer my crotch with a pillow. Yeah, I got a dog recently. A dog that loves to work her way under the covers during the night. Also loves to stretch out and push us over so she has more room. Solid punch and scratch to the nuts while out cold was not fun. My cat used to bite my nipple if she would be under the sheets. There was one morning in high school when my dad decided to wake me up for school by ripping the covers off me in bed. That was the last time that happened. We all know rude awakenings are the cause behind nude sleeping. My dad wouldn't let me have an alarm clock. I have hearing loss that he didn't believe in and wouldn't let me get the old-fashioned clanging alarm, which is the only one that would wake me up. So he would come in every morning to wake me up for school. Super irritating. Anyway, I wasn't naked, but one morning when I was in high school, my boob had migrated out of my tank top while I was sleeping. My dad just kind of kept facing the door, like walking backwards, and shook my foot till I woke up. We didn't make eye contact for a few days after that. My dad used to dive onto the bed to wake me up as a kid/teen. Once I started sleeping nude, he only did it once. WTF, how did he not know? My son is and has been a naked butt most of his life. I know he sleeps naked. He would walk around the house naked if I would let him. Since puberty hit, that was a minimum requirement of underpants to leave his bedroom. Also, I have seen that kid naked countless times. Could care less, he has seen me naked and nobody gives a flip except the wife, she is a little more conservative about the whole thing. Oh, I see you are at full attention. Carry on. That happened to me too, it was so awkward, we didn't make eye contact for like 3 months afterwards. LMAO. I had a closet-sized single dorm room and people would always pull the fire alarm in the middle of the night and we'd all have to go outside. Not me, but I was spending the night at my friend's house in a suburban neighborhood. I locked myself out of my flat whilst sleepwalking one. My girlfriend was on holidays, so I had to wait until morning, borrow a towel off a neighbor and then walk about a mile up the road to the estate agent to get a spare key. I would have lent more than a towel, geez. I have literal nightmares about this happening to me. Sorry if it is off topic, but, is your username by chance a reference to Monty Python's Life of Brian? I don't know if I would call it backfired, but, when the suicidal girl that's staying the night at your brother's house because they're watching this girl for suicide reasons, wakes you up in the middle of the night and is sitting right on top of you telling you that you have to talk her down right then and there or she is going to kill herself in front of you. Yeah, you would probably just rather be clothed for that encounter. Fear boner? That is really specific. Also, can I please have an update on that? I was at a hotel and the fire alarm went off. I had to very quickly find clothes/get dressed. It was a legit small fire too. I always sleep with pants on at hotels. I don't want to find out the hard way that they don't wash the sheets well enough. During Freshers Week at university, I had had a few too many and failed to wake up when the fire alarm went off at 4 AM. It was only a drill. When I didn't appear in the courtyard outside, the senior resident like an RA had to unlock my door and check I was there/alive. Poor girl couldn't wake me, so she pulled the covers off to get me to stir and was confronted by my morning wood pointing straight up at her. Still drunk, and very confused as to what was going on and what all the noise was, I wasn't much help finding something to cover up. She eventually found my dressing gown. Then had to walk out into the courtyard where 400 tired and annoyed students were waiting for me so they could get back to bed. They all watched me walk out in just a dressing gown, the outline still visible. Took a while to live that one down. I wasn't nude, but I was in just my underwear. I was sleeping in and suddenly at around noon all the fire alarms start tripping, so I need to get my shirt, jacket, pants, belt, socks and shoes on all at once. It was snowing outside, so I couldn't go with less than that. All in all, about 20 seconds. I grabbed my room key and mask on the way out since I could leave before that. A minute after waking up, I am in the lobby looking like a homeless person being told that it was a false alarm, that a plumber doing a plumbing job had accidentally tripped the alarm. When I was about 13 or 14, I used to sleep naked, until I started to sleepwalk a lot, never slept naked ever again. Damn, I didn't get that brave until I turned like 17 or 18 when I started drinking and was always too hot at night with clothes. I've only slept-walked a couple times in my early 20s, I think due to high stress and high alcohol consumption. The worst/scariest/most ridiculous time, I had fallen asleep naked at a hotel, slept-walked out of the room, and woke up in the stairwell being shouted at by 2 security guards. "Ma'am, you need to cover up." Guess they saw my naked ass wandering around on the cameras. I assume I told them I was going back to my room and they left me to it, but fell asleep again and woke up again on a random floor. Forgot my room number, found a hand towel to cover my parts with and a conveniently placed telephone that I used to call the front desk to ask what room I was in. Finally got back and banged as loud as I could on the door till the clueless dude who was in there finally woke up and let me in. Thankfully haven't sleepwalked since. Still sleep naked though. A few years ago, I was working a night shift and had just returned home at 7 AM. I was so tired that I didn't close the front door properly. After I activated the house alarm, I went to my room and undressed myself and went to bed. I wake up to the alarm blaring and I look around my room as I hear yelling. I see there are 2 female cops in the house with their guns out and one of them was pointing it at me. I'm half asleep and not really understanding what was going on. The officer asked if I lived here, to which I said yes. Then she ordered me to show her my ID. My ID, which was in my wallet, was on my dresser. I pointed her to where my wallet was. She ordered me to show it to her, and I said I couldn't get up because I was naked under my blanket. So, while still pointing her gun at me, she opened up my wallet. After that, the cops left and, after securing the front door properly, I went back to sleep. My favorite part is that 2 trained professionals found it conceivable, and even probable, that someone broke in to take a morning nap like fucking Goldilocks. That's one heck of a house alarm. When in uni, my room was right in front of the university. So when looking out my windows you would look straight into classrooms. So one day the inevitable happened. I had forgotten to close the curtains at night. You could not see me while I was in bed due to the head of the bed obstructing the window. However, getting out of the bed would expose my entire naked body to the world. So any bored student whose sight was wandering off outside the classroom window could get a nice viewing of my naked body. The way I fixed it was by simply rolling up in my bed sheets and sort of hop to my curtains in my bed sheet roll. I am male BTW, so I didn't have to cover up breasts. I am male BTW, so I didn't have to cover up breasts, just let those moobs swing free. Most Dutch won't care. But will look. Why close the curtain? Free advertising.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.